Good morning. Welcome to the Namaste experience. How are you this morning? Awake and ready. There we go. Awake and ready. It's Friday. I keep saying how that used to be really a big deal, Thank God it's Friday. It's Friday. And I'm having a different experience around that here in Mexico. But I do realize that each day is significant. I think that might have been what I was missing a little bit before. That every moment counts. And then they don't. And then we step into the allness of the nothingness of the beingness, and away we go with the ness, right? And sometimes it gets a little tangled up, at least for me. And that's why we come together, so that we can affirm with each other who we are, remember who we are. We have a guest today. I'm going to do a little bit of twisting here, see if I can get you in the camera, Michael. There you are. Isn't he beautiful? Yeah. This is Reverend Michael Brooks. He is our minister in residence this month for Unity Ahihik, and we host the minister here in Namaste. He and his wife, Megan Smith Brooks, will be joining us for this month. Both, of course, are ordained Unity ministers. And what I read was they're dedicated to bringing practical truth teachings, no pressure, by the way, and universal philosophies from a lot of resources. Michael's been with us before, and his wife also, and they've served in a lot of different Unity spiritual communities. They are the co-founders of Unity Awakening Ways, and an alternative Unity ministry that's offered online, spiritual education, and ministry services. So we welcome Michael. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome, Michael.
So I'm going to steal the camera now, and then we'll come back to you, all right? The Reverends have been regular in-person and online speakers at several Unity spiritual centers, as I mentioned, and being a Unity minister, I appreciate that work. So I have a question for you. What is a bee's favorite kind of music? Come on now. Bebop, of course. All right, I'll try one more bad joke. It's Friday. What do you call a bee that can't make up its mind? Bewildered. Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe. It's a maybe. Oh, thank you for indulging me. I'll probably put that improv stand-up comedy on hold for a while. Today, what dropped in for me, and when I mentioned this topic to Michael just yesterday afternoon, his eyebrows kind of went up and said, active stillness. Active stillness. Now, we have a big event going on here in Namaste. We are welcoming Balama in for a couple-day retreat. And I noticed when she came into the room how still things became. I also noticed that we are invited into the nothingness, and that only this moment is the only one we can be. Man, I love that. That feels good in my life. But there was a lot of action right up to that moment. There was moving of chairs and setting up platforms, Ravi running around doing his thing, me running around doing my thing. And then Peggy, I solicited her to come into the chaos and support as a Namaste person. There was a lot of activity before that stillness, I noticed. And I don't think either is more valuable or less valuable. I think that we are called into, as the Bible talks about, Mary and Martha. Some days I'm Mary and some days I'm Martha. Those were the ladies, one buzzing around, taking care of Jesus because he was there for dinner, and the other resting and sitting at his feet. I think we can be both. Bees are a paradox of motion and mindfulness, thus the bee joke. They look so busy all the time, don't they? But somehow they're getting their job done. And they are staying present to who they are. That's how they stay on task. They don't question, is this the right way for me to be? No pun intended. And just because my last name's Honey, I didn't just choose bees accidentally. Do you know that the wing speed of a bumblebee is 130 to 240 times per second? I know. Can you say miracle? Can you say miracle? and they hover and they navigate at astonishing amounts of control at that speed. Sometimes just walking down Cologne is just, I barely move because of the cobblestones. And I think of the bees and the pace at which they're moving at. And do you know that that vibration from their wings, that actually dislodges pollen from the flowers so that other insects can get to it? Zzz, right? And it shakes right off of the flowers. They control their temperature with their buzzing and their speed. They don't live very long, but boy, they sure have a great time while they're here. And they have a high impact. They're only here 28 to maybe 42 days. Yet their contribution to our ecosystem is remarkable. And there's a concept that there's a social harmony with bees. And that is what creates the coordination and the ability for them to be productive and to do their job. Remember, we're talking about active stillness. In their presence, in their doing, what they call the waggle dance wisdom. That's how they communicate where they're at, their proximity to the flowers, where the pollen is and where they need to go. They do a waggle dance wisdom, they call that. Anybody in your life? And you know what? Honeybees don't even produce more than 1/12 of a teaspoon in the span of their life. Now remember, their life's short. Well, that seems like a lot of work. But consider that a hive of bees produces 60 pounds in a season. The collective coming together of that active stillness and consciousness and focus. See, this is what we're invited into. This is where that active stillness supports us in a greater connection and understanding of our lives. Now, I know we're working in an illusion here. I get that. But I also know that we're in it. And while we're here, can we bring those two concepts of the being along with the doing? Is there a possibility? Because sometimes when I look out in the world, I almost feel guilty for just being, because I think, wow, shouldn't I be doing something? And maybe that is sitting in the stillness. Maybe that is the quiet. But for me, I've shared this before, it requires a broom because I need to be sweeping. I need to be mindful of my presence on the planet and the power that's within me so that I can, in fact, do what is required next. Now, that's the world according to Penny. What's yours? How do you actively be still? I have a suggestion. You want to hear it? It's about presence. I had a teacher, Edwina Gaines, and she used to say, be in gratitude, even when you're taking out the kitty litter. Be actively still and present to the teaching and to what it is that you're doing. Consider the bee. Consider Brother Lawrence. He said this: the time of business is not with me, differ from the time of prayer. We are one. I am one with the alignment of life and what it requires. My work is to be in stillness while I am active. It's easy to do when it's quiet. There aren't any saws. It's easy to do when the bombas aren't going off here in Mexico in celebration. But what about when it's noisy? What about when something's required? Can you find the stillness there? Ooh. And I know what it looks like to get moving and keep moving. But I offer you this. Peace is not the absence of activity, but the presence of awareness in all activity. The mind creates the abyss, we learn from Nisargadatta. The heart crosses it. This is us working in concert with each other. This is us raising the vibration in our active stillness, because life is going to require us to move. And as long as we're living here in these bodies, I really do believe the peace at depth that passes all understanding is found when we can be active and be still. To be in the doing, taking out the kitty litter. Enlightenment is not a way out of life, but it is a way into it. Adashanti told us. It's not a way out of life, but it's a way into it. That active stillness that you can bring to every task. I don't know. Could you find some peace in that? Yeah. I think that could be fun. So rest with that for a moment. And then we're gonna have Michael share with us this morning. And I want to see what that raised eyebrow was about when I mentioned this concept. Michael, there you are, my friend. Looky here. Just like I know what I'm doing, I'm gonna move this microphone over for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Here. Can you see him well enough?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. It's all yours, baby.
Thank you. Buenos dias. So for me, so for me, it was when Penny was talking about what kind of bee. All right, we'll work on it.
I'll get a man right on that.
Closer.
You know, sometimes the best man for the job is a winner.
Well, now he's our best friend. How's that, Michael? Is that better?
Okay.
All right. Thank you for letting us know.
So got this call to do this thing yesterday, midday approximately, and I thought to myself, oh no, I didn't know I was going to do that, at least not today. So I started to get real busy, like a bee. And I found out that that I could pull up some of the stuff that I've done before because I brought my laptop. Thank God, you know, because it's important to have resource and to practice and to bring. And when I talked about being, it came to me that I spent most of my life becoming, trying to get to the next level, trying to find that piece of contentment that allows me to feel into the connection with the divine. You know, Charles Fillmore told us that we are individualized expressions of God. And I thought to myself, oh no, not me. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to be an expression of God. And then someone said to me, why not? Are you not made in the image and likeness? And I said, well, if God looks like me, he got a lot of work to do. So what do I do to feel that? For me, getting to that place of what you can call nirvana or enlightenment or beingness is about getting my ego out of the way. And that's what, for me, that's like moving the stone away from the cave when Jesus emerged egoless. You know, the metaphors are replete with what we see and what we read and what we do each day. So to echo the idea that being is a matter of awareness. And I can feel moments of that enlightenment. And I know you have all felt that too. The key is to string them together. The key is to try to make them more often than not. So here's something that I practice because that's the only way I know how to get there. I practice by becoming still and allowing myself to actively open my inner eyes. Because my outer eyes only see what's going on in the world. And if you're wrapped up in what's going on in our world today, yes, it's crazy. When Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this earth," he cautions us not to get involved with those things that we cannot control. In one of my spiritual practices, we say that serenity prayer all the time. Grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to keep my mouth shut. Because I'm the only one that's involved in what I see, think, hear, and say. I'm involved in all of it. And those whose lives I am honored to touch are a reflection. My lovely wife had a saying when we were in seminary, and everybody kind of listened. And I will tell you this little gem that our relationship with God is our relationship with ourselves. Our relationship with others is the barometer by which we gauge our beingness. So if you're having trouble with everybody in your life, guess who's the common denominator there? I know for me, it's about taking responsibility. Is there something that I need to do to make things better between me and whoever I have conflict? I believe in conflict resolution, but it has to start within, right? Just like anything else, it has to start from the inside. And then when I look in the mirror and I see this old guy looking back, how did that happen? I just graduated high school a little while ago. And now I look like Stan Lee. Excelsior. I am being versus becoming. Being is presence. What is the presence that you're focusing on today? We were sitting and having breakfast earlier, and this topic came up. What are we thinking about? Right? The Buddha said we become what we think about the most. What are you thinking about today? What will you allow yourself to pass through the sentinel that stands guard in your mind? Because we get to let it in or let it out. I hope to see some of you on Sunday because I want to talk a little bit more involved about how we get to the place of making decisions and which ones become more important to us and which ones we can bring into our lives and how do we get there? Give me a process. Help me understand these flowery words. Help me put this into practice so that I can actually see practical spirituality in action. And so, yeah, the number one part of that is to learn to be still. Stillness is the presence of God. Silence is the language of God. And when we can put those things together, we have an opportunity, not a promise, but an opportunity at a life that's glorious, that's joyful, that's filled with possibility. We all want that, I think, at some level. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Yay. You know, you can get more of that on Sunday. Thank you. I appreciate you. And again, here on Sunday at 12 noon, Ahi Unity will be here and Michael will be the speaker. So come join us here in Namaste Village.
only if you want to have fun.
Only if you want to have fun, he says.
Yeah.
That's one of the requirements. So that stillness, that being, that all that we do. And what did we come here to do? To remember. We came here to remember. There is no separation. To remember that we were born of the original blessing, not the original sin. That our light is required on the planet. And that we are one with the divine. And that can be expressed in active stillness when you are present and when you are listening to that language of God or whatever you call it. Actively still, the act of being while doing is what we're invited into today. We've all heard that, chopping wood, carrying water thing. And we all have to chop a little wood and carry a little water, a lot of water here, right? In Mexico. And I hear the chopping of vegetables in the background. I don't think you can hear that on Zoom, but the timing is impeccable. This is life. This is what we're in. This is what we're doing right now. Your grand expression into that, in your active stillness, lifts the planet. And it also gets dinner made, right? It also gets the laundry done. It also carries water and chops wood. Your divine self, expressing actively the stillness that has never left you and that you have never left. Actively engaged in the presence. This is the invitation. Michael has a meditation. Would you like to share that with us?
Yes, it's called.
And then we'll close out with our amen, amen. And we will this morning move quickly out of the area if you're not staying for the Balama event. So thank you for that today. Okay. And thank you for being with us out there on YouTube and on Zoom. We appreciate you.
So this meditation is called Carry Water, Chop Carrots. So let's take a moment and find that comfortable position in the chair in which you sit. So if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Take a deep, gentle breath in. Hold for a moment, and then gently exhale. Again, breathing in, hold, and breathing out. Now I want you to imagine your body softening. Let the chair completely support you. Let the earth hold you. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to fix. There is nothing to change. Simply notice this moment and this moment and this moment. Feel yourself breathing. Notice what is around you, the noise that you hear, the bird in the distance. The constant chopping. And bring your awareness inward. Allow that which interrupts you to move you deeper. Beneath even your thoughts, beneath your feelings, at the very center, that is where you will find a quiet presence. This is being connected with that quiet presence, regardless of what else is going on around you. It is the I am. It is always with you. Even in your most troubled and your most happy times, the I am is there. Feel it. It loves you without condition. Now silently affirm to yourself, I am one with being. I am one with being. I live, move, and have my being in this presence. I am a unique expression of infinite life. Rest here for a few breaths. And allow your next breath to be a little deeper. Allow it to gently bring you back to this time and place, bringing with you the peace, the joy, the connection with presence that is always there. Lo, I am with you always, even to the ends of the earth. Amen, and amen, and amen, and
And I'll be here for those on Zoom who would like to stay with me for a while.
I can't today. Sorry.
Well, is anybody